You Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World, coming to you on a doubleheader show. You may have just missed our crossover episode where we broke down the standings, how we think they're going to shake out in the Eastern Conference. I'm, of course, your host, David. On point right there is Mr. Israel Rivera, CEO of Prime Sports World. And if you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, please like, share, and subscribe. We go live basically every single day, bringing the up-to-date content. And we've also shared the StreamYard link into all of the places. So if you want to join us and talk a little fantasy football, more than welcome to do so. And please, if you have any questions about trades or anything like that, please drop those in the comment section, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. We will absolutely answer them on the show live on air. But yeah, what's up, man? How are you, buddy? Week number 5. How did you do in fantasy this past week?
Man, I believe I went 3-2 this week.
Yeah, I won most of my
something like that.
I won most of my fantasy matchups this week, except for this game where I got beat. This guy who scored 172 points. It was over. I scored 130 in that league. I still lost. And then I had a league where I have Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas on my team, and I overslept on Sunday, and I didn't get him out of my lineup, and I got spanked by my friend Tom.
Oh yeah,
now.
Okay, yeah. No, I went 3-1. I went 3-1, and I got off the schneid in one league, and I'm still, trying to get off the schneid in our other buddies AJ's league. I'm still on 4. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I same predicament. One of my leagues, Alvin Kamara, I didn't get up enough, and I didn't get up in time to replace him. But thank God I had Josh Jacobs in my lineup because he saved my life. And if me and David told you to pick the Detroit Lions defense, we are very sorry. Because the Detroit Lions lost me a fantasy matchup in AJ's league. I probably would have been 4-0. All I had to do was start the Chargers, and I would have won that league. But I started Detroit, and they gave me -8 fantasy points.
Yeah. Man, I got this trade in AJ's league. I just wanted to why would you think I would ever make this trade? They offered me Tony Pollard and Travis Kelce for Mike Evans and Alvin Kamara. Why would I make that deal? Why?
Well, if I was you, I'd take Travis Kelce, but they could have, Tony Pollard, you got to give me somebody,
Alvin Kamara and Mike Evans are top 5 of their position when they're healthy. But, there's no way I'm making that trade. Let's get into the rankings. Let's go. That's what this show's about. It's our Week 5 fantasy football rankings. Hopefully, this show will help you win your fantasy matchup. Moving on. Number 1, Jalen Hurts. I know But Jalen Hurts is my number one fantasy quarterback. The guy has just been on fire this season. Rushing, passing, he's been awesome. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, 4, Josh Allen, 5, Justin Herbert, 7, Lamar Jackson. 7 is Kirk Cousins going up against the Chicago Bears. The secondary, I think, can be had. And I got 8. I got Trevor Lawrence in my top 8. I think that matchup against the Houston Texans is going to be juicy for all the fantasy value. And I think if you wanted to start Davis Mills in a league, I think you could do worse. 9, Derek Carr. 10, Kyler Murray. Derek Carr is at 9 because I think the Kansas City defense can still be had. Look for him to have a good game there against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady did, and Derek Carr.
Look what Tom Brady did. Yeah.
Kyler Murray, number 10. And then I got my outside looking in. I got Ryan Tannehill, Tom Brady, and then I got Aaron Rodgers as well, going against the New York Giants on what is it, Sunday night or Sunday on Sunday. And my sneaky and daily is Trevor Lawrence at 5,600. I just think that the Houston Texan Jacksonville Jaguar game is going to be a bit of a barn burner. I think it's going to be really high scoring. Look for Trevor Lawrence and Davis Mills potentially to be sneaky and daily when it comes to daily. If you're looking to spend not a lot of money on a quarterback, I think Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good grab.
Yeah, no, I think I'm on the same boat with you. I got Trevor Lawrence in my top 10 as well. Godly, man. I mean, that Houston Texas matchup, he should definitely be taking advantage of it. But yeah, at number 1, I got Josh Allen. Going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they haven't really been a model of consistency on defense.
And not to mention their offense. That offense is probably going to be on the football field a lot, basically because the Pittsburgh Steelers are starting Kenny Pickett. That did not go well in his first start. I don't imagine it'll go any better against the Buffalo Bills, who's a much better defense.
Sure. And then at number 2, I got Pat Mahomes. Number 3, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts that's going to be the theme, right? Top 3 quarterback in fantasy this year. Especially, we saw last year. We saw last week. He hit, had a first drive reception off a tip. And then they didn't. I think they had they didn't march the football down the field. They went down 14, and then 3 consecutive touchdown drives for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
If only he had thrown some more of those touchdowns, because that was his stat line would even be more impressive.
Exactly. Yeah, so 3 Jalen Hurts. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. I think that Cincinnati game, Baltimore game is going to be high scoring. So watch out for Lamar Jackson to put up some numbers, and Joe Burrow. I got them both at 4 and 5. And number 6, I got Kirk Cousins. 7, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert going up against Cleveland. I just think they Austin Eckler kind of getting back into form last week. It's only going to help this offense. It's only going to help Justin Herbert a little, especially in the screen passing game where he doesn't have to do so much throwing the football downfield as much. Number 8, Tom Brady. Woo! He showed up last week, man. He's got a really good matchup against Atlanta. Look for Tom Brady. He's got his number 1 weapon back. And Mike Evans. He lost Chris Godwin though. I don't know what the stats are. But look for Tom Brady to get it going this week. And then number 9, Trevor Lawrence. He said going up against the Houston defense that is probably one of the worst in the league. Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty good to start the season. Look for Trevor Lawrence to have a big game against Houston. Then at number 10, Derek Carr. Like you said, Kansas City gave up a lot of yards to Tom Brady through the air. I think that's the same thing is going to happen in this game, especially since the Raiders, I think, are going to be down in this game. So they're going to rely on the pass quite a lot. And then I'm outside looking in. I got Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo, who had a pretty good game last week. And he's got a pretty good matchup this week against Carolina. I just don't think Carolina's consistent enough to stop the play action game of San Francisco. And then number 3, Jared Goff. I was actually just before this, I was looking at the Detroit Lions offensive rankings, and I think they're in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken.
They are in the top 5. Their offense has been awesome. It's their defense. Their defense can't stop anybody to save their life. But their offense has been awesome. They're going up against the New England Patriots defense. That Brian Hoyer may or may not play in this game, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I mean New England's defense. I mean, you saw a little bit of what they could do against Green Bay last week, but Detroit's way more consistent offensively than Green Bay was, or Green Bay is. I don't know if Amon-Ra St. Brown know what his status is, but I think
he should be back in this game.
Yeah, should be playing. And then DJ Shark, if they get him back, they're full throttle. I don't know if they're getting DeAndre Swift back this week, but look for Jared Goff to have a good week this week. And then cheap fun and fan duel, I got Jacoby Brissett at 6,700. I just think Jacoby Brissett, this week going up against the Chargers defense, who hasn't been consistent as well either. Can put up some points, and he's a cheap option where you can just stack up your chips elsewhere. So
I agree with you on that, Jacoby Brissett. But I would check my chips elsewhere if I was going to go quarterback. I don't trust Jacoby Brissett. From the quarterbacks to your running backs, let's get to running back rankings.
Running backs, man. Start number one, man. Derrick Henry, man. He's going up against a Washington team that's not that good. So I look for Derrick Henry to have a couple rushing touchdowns and over 100 yards this week. Number two, I got Saquon Barkley going against a woeful Green Bay rushing defense. They can't stop to run it off for their life. So, look for Saquon Barkley to have a good game. And that's coming from a Packer fan. And then at number three, I got Nick Chubb, who's just been on a tear this year. Look for Nick Chubb to have a good game against the Chargers. Number four, Aaron Jones. 5, Austin Eckler. Both of them kind of have similar value in the passing game. Number 6, Dalvin Cook. 7, James Robinson. I think James Robinson could actually be a little higher on these fantasy rankings going up against Houston. So James Robinson.
I do think Travis Etienne is at some point going to start to eat into his carries at some point this season. I don't know when, but at some point that's going to happen.
It needs. I mean, if they drafted him for to take over, but I mean, as long as James Robinson is running the rock as hard as he's running it, I mean, keep it going, right? Number 8, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, doesn't have think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He doesn't have rushing value, but he does have the value in the passing game, especially in the red zone. In the red zone, they get play for him, and then also when he's on the goal line, I mean, they give him the ball. Look for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to keep it going. He had 2 touchdowns last week. And then Miles Sanders at 9. I love Miles Sanders this year, man. He's been clearly the best running back on that team, and he's got a good matchup this week going up against Minnesota. And then at number 10, I got Khalil Herbert going up. Miles Sanders going up against Arizona. At number 10, I got Khalil Herbert going up against Minnesota. I just don't think Minnesota's defense is as consistent as well. They're going to rely on the running game a little bit. David Montgomery's not back. Herbert will be used in this game. And then outside looking in, I got Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette. Hopefully that let's hope that they don't throw the ball 25 straight times or whatever the case is. And he doesn't have -3 yards in this game against Atlanta. So look for Leonard Fournette.
You're not bitter at all, right?
Oh, I'm super bitter, man. Oh my gosh. Killed me on my parlay last week. And then my third one is Christian McCaffrey going up against San Francisco. I honestly could have left Christian McCaffrey off this list. I just don't think that Carolina's even gonna be competitive against San Francisco.
They're just not good.
He just hasn't been great this season at all. And then cheap option in FanDuel, Mike Boone, for replacement Devontae Williams out with an ACL tear. Expect Mike Boone to come in and move up in the depth chart and split those carries with Melvin Gordon.
Especially if Melvin Gordon continues to put the ball on the ground and not be remotely good. So look for Mike Boone to continue eating to those carries for sure. Running back, Nick Chubb. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Nick Chubb has been on a tear this season. He's my number 1 running back. He may be my number 1 running back every week that he's not on his bye. For real, Nick Chubb has been awesome this season. 2, Austin Eckler, kind of a bounce back game there against last week against the Houston Texans. Look for him to continue to roll with him. Lot against the I don't even remember their
plan. He's going against the Cleveland Browns.
Thank you. I think they're going to continue to feed him and continue to run with him. 3, Derrick Henry got back on the schneid, got back on the good graces. 4, Dalvin Cook going against the Chicago Bears team that can't really stop the run. 5, Saquon Barkley, same thing, only different team. 6, Aaron Jones. I just think his usage rate is just through the roof. They use him in the passing game, they use him in the running game, and he's just going to be valuable to the Green Bay Packers. He's their most consistent offensive weapon they got right now. 7, Christian McCaffrey. 8, Joe Mixon. 9, Miles Sanders. 10, Dameon Pierce. I liked what I've seen out of him, especially a game that I expect to be a bit of a shootout. Houston's going to rely on Dameon Pierce on the ground. And then Damian Harris is my outside looking in at number 11. I just look at what no matter who the quarterback is, I think they're going to be running the football a lot. And Damian Harris is their workhorse running back. I do think there'll be some Ramondre Stevenson in there, but Damian Harris gets the goal line carries. 2, Alvin Kamara. Didn't leave him totally out of my rankings. I have no idea if he's going to play or not, but if he plays, better be good because I am relying on him. And then 3, Josh Jacobs. After the game he had last week, I couldn't possibly leave him out of my top 13 outside looking in. The dude was just awesome last week. And then my sneaky and daily, Damian Harris at 5,600. And then I mentioned him earlier in the show, Travis Etienne at 5,100. If you're looking for a guy in PPR formats, Travis Etienne could be a valuable guy to play in DraftKings at 5,100. This was pretty cheap. And Damian Harris is stupid cheap too.
I'm waiting for Travis Etienne to have a breakout game this year. He hasn't had one yet. Maybe this is the game that he does have one.
I mean, if they're going to go up, if it's going to happen against any defense, this is the one it's going to happen against.
Yes, absolutely.
Moving on from those running backs to the wide receivers. My number 1 wide receiver is Stephon Diggs. I expect Buffalo to be passing the ball. I expect Stephon Diggs to be all over the field. 2, Devontae Adams. I think Devontae Adams, Las Vegas is probably going to get down, and they're going to have to throw the football. 3, Cooper Kupp. Do I think he's going to have 14 receptions this game, 19 targets? No. But do I think he's going to have 10 receptions in this game? Probably. 4, Justin Jefferson going against the Bears, without being said. 5, Deebo Samuel. 6, Mike Evans. 7, Jamar Chase. 8, Tyreek Hill. 9, Mike Williams. As long as Keenan Allen continues to be out, Mike Williams should be started in all formats. 10, Christian Kirk. Everybody hated on him when they signed that big money contract. He's been pretty good this season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Outside looking in, I got A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown, Brandon Cooks. As I mentioned, that Jacksonville Jaguar game should be a shootout. And then my sneaky and daily is Devontae Parker. As long as Jacoby Myers is out, which I do not know his status for this game, Devontae Parker has been a really valuable player for the New England Patriots. And Marvin Jones Jr. Playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4,200, a game that I expect to be a shootout against the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Devontae. I was really close to picking Devontae Parker as my sneaky and daily. I do think that Teddy Bridgewater is kind of not Teddy Bridgewater, but whoever who's in New England, who's going to be the quarterback? It's going to be Brian Hoyer.
I don't know. I mean, he's
or Brady or Zappy.
I think it'll be Bailey Zappi. I don't think they'll roll up Brian Hoyer again. But either way, I think that still Devontae Parker has some value.
Yeah, absolutely. At number 1, I got Cooper Kupp, man. Yeah, he had 14 catches last week. He's got a good matchup this week.
Mac Jones is back in practicing, so it might be Mac Jones actually starts for this team.
Wow, that's a quick recovery, man. That's a quick recovery.
I didn't expect him to be back. So Brian Hoyer did not practice today. Mac Jones did. So I don't know.
That's a quick recovery for a high ankle sprain. Anyways, Cooper Kupp at number 1. I just think if pass rush isn't going for Dallas, you can get a lot of yards through the air on the secondary. And also, it depends on which Trevon Diggs is going to show up, right? Trevon Diggs, got in he wants to be a lockdown corner. He can lock you down. I don't think anybody locks down Cooper Kupp, period. And then at number 2, I got Justin Jefferson. Number 3, Jamar Chase going to be a shootout there. And number 4, I got Stephon Diggs going up against Pittsburgh. Easily those top 4 guys are going to have, number 1 type of status. They have all equal in my opinion. At number 5, I got Tyreek Hill. Teddy Bridge, he's just going to be looking up for Tyreek Hill, just like, where's Tyreek Hill at? I'm just going to throw the ball.
Well, I mean, after Tua went out, I mean, Tyreek Hill had 1 billion targets in that game. So.
Yeah, he did. So, Teddy Bridge with just looking like a good matchup for Tyreek Hill going up against the Jets. And then at number 6, Mike Evans. He was the leading fantasy point getter at wide receiver last week with 2 touchdowns for Tampa Bay to keep it going against Atlanta. And number 7, I got A.J. Brown. Number 8, Devontae Adams going up against a woeful, inconsistent Kansas City secondary. And then number 9, Christian Kirk. He's looked pretty good this year, worth every penny that Jacksonville has given him so far. Going up against a good matchup in Houston. And then number 10, T. Higgins, who had a pretty good game last week as well. Look for him to continue his success against Baltimore this week. And then I'm outside looking in. I got Cortland Sutton, Deebo Samuel, who had a big game last Monday.
He had 1 good catch. The rest of his game was kind of meh.
Yeah. He had
if you look at the rest of his numbers,
crossing route where he ran it for 60 yards before a touchdown. Yeah. So look for him on the outside looking in. And like I said, I like that matchup against Carolina for Deebo Samuel. And then Mike Williams. Keenan Allen's not back yet. I don't know what his status is right now, but still Mike Williams is the number 1 wide receiver, so far for LA going up against Cleveland. I mean, tough secondary, but expect him to get some targets there. And then my sneaky and daily, Romeo Dobbs Romeo Dubs at 5,700. He's like easily becoming like next to Allen Lazard, probably the best Packer wide receiver on that team.
Keenan Allen did not practice today, so I, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Moving on from the wide receivers, we're going to swing into those other pass catchers, which you rattle off your tight end rankings, which our tight end rankings look very similar, at least in the top 5.
Well, yeah, no, definitely the top 5. Me and David are literally spot on the same. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, who led all tight ends in points last week.
Led all players, period, in points last week.
Led all players, period? Was it? He had 31?
Yeah. 35.
I thought it was you know what? He was second. Because I think
35. According to the I'm looking at the Krusty Krab leagues. According to the way they score the game, 35.9 was the highest score in fantasy.
On the Krusty Krab, the one league we're in with AJ.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he had 35. What did Jared Goff? Jared Goff was like right there.
Jared Goff had 33 too. So 33, they were both like right there.
And some of the the rankings that I look at when it comes like it goes like across all boards and averages all out, and they had him second and Jared Goff first. I don't know why, but anyways, yeah, TJ Hawkinson, crazy, had a great game last week. Expect for him to keep it going. Number 5, Dallas Goedert, man, let's keep it going, man. Top 5 is completely the same for me and David. And number 6, Zach Ertz, look for him to have a pretty decent game this week going up against Philly. Number 7, Tyler Higbee. He's clearly the second best option in the passing game in LA. And
14 targets on Monday.
Yeah, Matt Stafford is clearly looking for him and Cooper Kupp a lot. So yeah, better put Tyler Higbee in your starting lineup if you can. And then number 8, David Njoku. Last week, what did David Njoku do? He had kind of had a pedestrian week last week.
He had like 8 points last week. I mean, for a guy who's like a fringe top 10 tight end, that's kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, after you had that big game the week before. Yeah, look for David Njoku to have a pretty good game against the Chargers. I think that game could, kind of get up and up in scoring this weekend. And then at number 9, Gerald Everett. Same game. I think Gerald Everett's a guy that has immense talent. He's a guy that Justin Herbert looks for as a safety valve. So I think he has some value in this week. And then number 10, Tyler Conklin. He's slowly but surely becoming a top 10 fantasy tight end this year with the New York Jets. So hopefully him and Zach Wilson kind of get on that same rapport as him and whatever Joe Flacco were having earlier in the year. Look for Tyler Conklin this week to be a top 10 fantasy tight end. And then I'm outside looking in George Kittle, giving him the benefit of the doubt. I said that last week. If he doesn't have a good game this week, I'm just going to keep him off my rankings all in all. Because, George Kittle, he's definitely a top 10 talent, top 5 talent. I just, I think he's just kind of getting back into game shape so far. And then number 2, Robert Tonyan. He's really red zone dependent. He didn't really get many targets last week. So, look for Robert Tonyan to have an okay game, this week going up against New York. And then number 3, Pitts. He's kind of been a disappointment this year so far. But, I could see, the Atlanta Falcons being down, a lot to Tampa Bay. So they're going to be looking to throw the football. So Kyle Pitts has some value.
I worry. I have Kyle Pitts higher than you, but now that I'm thinking about it, like that linebacking core for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to really limit the kind of production, even though they didn't Travis Kelce. So we'll see. Yeah,
definitely. And then my cheap option in daily and FanDuel is Jelani Woods, the rookie, man. Going godly. Who are they playing? Well, they're playing Denver this week. But yeah, look for Jelani Woods, man. I mean, he had one catch for like 30-something yards last week. But I look for Jelani Woods in the red zone this week against Denver. Denver's kind of been a good stingy defense this year so far. I mean, they really haven't played, great teams so far this year. But look for the Colts to look for Jelani Woods in the red zone. I think he gets a touchdown this week. So if you're going to swing for the fences, go look for the rookie.
I agree with you. Moving on. So I got, we obviously our top 5 are exactly the same. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert. I think that's where the differences comes in with everything else. So I got David Njoku at 6. I just think he's become a focal point of this offense, so long as Jacoby Brissett stays the quarterback. Then George Kittle, I'm lower on him than usual, but I still think the talent's there. I think he'll get more into rapport this week. I think they have a good matchup as well. 8, Zach Ertz. 9, Kyle Pitts. I actually think I'm too high on Kyle Pitts now that I think about it again. 10, Gerald Everett. Same thing you said. I think he's just a really good tight end and a really good offense that's going to throw the football a lot. And then I got Irv Smith Jr. I'm still a believer. I still think that guy has potential. I think there's something there. Pat Freiermuth, same deal. I know the quarterback change is going to be there with Kenny Pickett, but I think he still has some rapport. Logan Thomas for the Washington football team, or Commanders, whatever they want to call themselves now, is my number 3 outside looking in. And then my sneaky and daily is Will Dissly. He has a touchdown in, I think, 2 out of the 4 weeks so far this season. And then if you don't know who the guy is on the other list, Shig Okonwo. He is a rookie tight end that plays for the Tennessee Titans and caught 2 touchdowns last week. So maybe you'll catch lightning bottle a second time. He's at 2,700 on DraftKings, which is insane cheap. If he gets in the end zone, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think still Austin Hooper's the number 1 tight end in that offense, but
I guess.
Kongu, man, yeah, right. I mean, it's like kind of like a toss-up. But Chico Kongu is kind of in the same boat as Jelani Woods, right? Kind of red zone dependent. You know, you can catch lightning in the bottle, and you know they've got the talent there, man. Just like I'm looking for Trey McBride to kind of do something. As long as Zach Ertz is there in Arizona, Trey McBride's not going to be used as much, but I'm looking for him to kind of break out at some point this season. But yeah, no, I love. I don't know, you know, Pratt Freiermuth with me, you know, Kenny Pickett. I think he's just going to struggle against this Buffalo defense.
It's possible he could.
Safety valve.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He might have a lot of targets, a lot of catches, but not a lot of yards.
Yeah.
Moving on from the tight ends to the sweet defenses. Number 1, our defensive rankings are pretty damn close too, by the way. 1, Buffalo Bills. 2, 49ers. 3, Green Bay Packers. So even if Mac Jones is the starting quarterback for the or whoever the starting quarterback is for the New York Giants next week for the Packers, I don't think it matters. This is the best defense in football when it comes to the passing game. They give up a lot on the ground, but I think they'll shore it up. 4, Tampa Bay. 5, I cannot leave the Philadelphia Eagles out of my top 5, even though it is a tougher matchup. I think they could give up some points on, but they're a hot flight off our defense. And then I got the Rams, Vikings, and Chargers. And my outside looking in, my sneaky and dealy is the Saints. They have a good matchup there. I think they could put up some points. They could, shut down that Seahawk offense. 3,300 on daily is not a bad gamble, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I like that Saints Saints defense. If they could get just a little something on the offensive end, their defense could actually get a rest. I think they can litter their ears back and get after Geno Smith this week. Even though Geno him and Marcus Mariota quietly have had good, have had a good season so far. Number 1, sure. Number 1, Buffalo going up against Pittsburgh, rookie quarterback Von Miller and company licking their chops. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, Baker Mayfield in that offense hasn't been really good at all. So San Francisco's licking their chops. And number 3, Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville that defense has showed some promise, especially like early in that first quarter. Against Philly until Philly kind of was like,
we just don't ignore the rest of the game, right?
Yeah, no, I know. That's how I was getting to. I was like early in the first quarter, and then the 3.5, like through the rest of the 3 quarters, they just like shat the bed. I was like, but I think going up against Houston, I think they have the potential to get after Davis Mills a little bit. I trust their defense more than Houston's, but yeah, I like that.
I don't think that's saying very much at all. So
I mean, look. Hey man, they had a good showing like what two weeks or so against the Colts. So yeah.
And they did have a good game against Justin Herbert too, given that he was banged up during that game. But
yep, against Justin Herbert. So yeah, look for Jacksonville against Houston. And number 4, Tampa Bay. Woo, man, Tampa Bay's the best defense in my opinion in the league. I just think that secondary is just a little finicky, but yeah, their front 7 is pretty good. And then number 5, the Minnesota Vikings going up against Justin Fields, who hasn't particularly looked well this season, throwing the football.
And their offensive line hasn't looked good, and this is like one of the better sack teams in the NFL.
Yeah. I will led the league last year in sacks. I don't know what the numbers look like this year, but I think Minnesota's the top 5 fantasy defense this week. And then outside looking in, I got Green Bay, Philly, and Dallas. Green Bay, same reasons. I just think Saquon Barkley might give them. One thing I didn't like about Green Bay is like you're going against a third string quarterback, and you have to go to OT.
Yeah, I hated that.
You know,
that was
win
my
that
lock of the
football
week, and
game.
it's still dicey.
Yeah, it was still dicey, and I just expected that. I expected a little bit more out of that defense. So
Me
you know,
too.
Green Bay's kind of on my they're kind of in my they're kind of on
Doghouse.
that list. They're on that list. They're on that list, man. That you know. Anyways,
The
and
list
then
of Jericho.
Philly,
You just made the list.
yeah, no, they're on that poop list. That shit
You
list.
just made the list.
They're on that list. Anyways, Philly going up against Arizona. I would have them in the top 5, but I think Kyler Murray, just that X factor of him getting loose a little bit can cause him some problems. But I think Philly's still a decent option. And then number 3, the Dallas Cowboys, and they're actually my sneaky and FanDuel. Real reason I would tell you this, man. The Rams just haven't had their offensive line has not been good, and what they're going against, they're going against DeMarcus Lawrence and they're going against Michael Parsons. I just think, those 2 guys are going to wreak havoc on that offensive line. And I just think, the Cowboys are going to, force them into a couple turnovers this week. So
the other thing is, like, the Rams, like, just always seem to turn the ball over every single game. Like, Matthew Stafford will give you 1, if not 2 turnovers every single game.
Yeah.
And that is a problem when you're playing against Trevon Diggs, who's the ball hawking corner, the biggest ball hawking corner. He's like the Marcus Peters 2.0. So when you go up against a guy and you make mistakes, he feasts on them. So yeah, I could see a scenario where the Dallas Cowboys are a top 5 defense for sure.
Yeah, and right now at 4,100 in FanDuel, that's pretty cheap option. Not gonna lie.
So yeah, that's been our fantasy football rankings for week number 5. Let us know what you think about our rankings. And before we get out of here, as we do every week, who will be the number 1 scorer in fantasy this week?
Oh man, you know what? Go with Travis Kelce. Go with Travis Kelce this week, man.
I'm gonna roll with Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb will be the number 1 fantasy player in fantasy this week. I think Nick Chubb will have 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So
because I just remember, and not to get, but I just like last year, like Travis Kelce, like tore up the Raiders. Like he's a Raiders terror. Like so. Like Travis Kelce, I got Travis Kelce for like 2 or 3 touchdowns this week. Like
I could see a scenario where he has that kind of game. But this has been our Prime. This has been Prime Sports World of Fantasy Football Rankings, week number 5. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. I've been David Huppin right there as the CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. Thank you very much again for joining us. Tomorrow we're going to have an interesting issue of games of the week. So I'm just going to create the graphics, and we're just going to have some music over it. Just kind of checking out the games. I have to do something tomorrow night, so I cannot run a show. So that'll be the way we're going to roll that out. Hope you guys still enjoy the content. Crossover, are you doing College Football Showdown this weekend?
College Football Showdown on Friday, guys. Don't miss it. We'll be here hopefully around 8 p.m. Central Time. And
then you will not see me again until Monday. I'm going out of town this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that.
Big camping trip, son.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. It's about to get wild down there, boy.
Out in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, for sure.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Peace out, man.
Stay safe. And let's bring the heat, son. Prime Sports World, bring the heat,
baby. Yeah. Let's go.
Sir.